Earlier today we were working on look, sit, and down, but now I want to work on one of the even more important commands for a puppy, because it's all about impulse control, and puppies have very little impulse control. Come here, bud. So, the command we're going to work on now is leave it. And to basically introduce the concept of leave it, what you want to do is put several reward treats in one hand, and then the treat that you're going to ask him to leave alone in the other hand. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this treat on my hand, and I'm going to say leave it, and I'm presenting it to him, leave it, and if he goes for it, I close my hand. Leave it. What I'm waiting for, yes, is for him to look at me, because I want him to learn that I want him to look away from whatever I said leave it and look at me for direction. Ready? Leave it. Yes, good boy. And then he gets his reward. Leave it. Leave it. So I helped him out a little bit there to remind him to look at me. Good. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. And each time I'm coming down a little bit further with the treat. Leave it. Yes. Oops. Dropped a treat. Set. Ready? Leave it. Up here. Yes. Good boy. Leave it. Leave it. And the closer I get to the ground, the more he thinks it's like his domain. Because once I put something on the ground, he thinks he can gobble it up. Leave it. So then you want to cover it up. Leave it. Never let him get that one. Oh. I said never let him get it, and he got it. He was too fast for me. Come here, bud. All right, come here. Let's try again. Come here. A little closer. Turn this way. That's it. Good. All right, let's try that again. So sometimes when they fail, you know, he got it off the ground, I want to kind of go back a step. Make it a little bit easier, because you always want him to succeed. Ready? Leave it. Where are you going? Come here. I know you hear a noise upstairs. Come. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the floor. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Okay, can you come over here? Come a little closer so we can see you. That's a boy. Ready? Leave it. And I'm keeping it somewhat far from him, so he's not as tempted. Leave it. Up here. Look. Look. Jerry, look. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. Come here. Closer. Over here. Come on. Sometimes he gets anchored and he doesn't want to move. That's a boy. Okay, ready? Leave it. Leave it. Yes. Good. Impulse control. Good boy. Look. Ready? Now this time I'm going to put a little movement into it. Leave it. Because if it's moving, it's much more enticing and harder to resist. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Leave it. Yes. Good job, buddy. So that's the beginning of teaching leave it. And again, the whole concept is I want you to look away from it, leave it alone, look at me instead, or turn away from it or walk away from it or whatever, just as long as they know not to go for that particular treat. Now, how does this work in real world situations. Well, if food drops on the floor, you should be able to say leave it and have him turn away from it. Now, obviously, that's going to be kind of hard at first. You have to really work up to it. And the other thing is, if I practice it here all the time and I don't practice it in another room or outside or anywhere else, he won't generalize that. He'll be able to do it right here, but nowhere else. So then I go up to the kitchen and I drop a piece of food on the floor and he's not going to figure it out. So you have to be sure to practice it in many different scenarios so that he gets better at it. Sit. Sit. Leave it. Ah. Leave it. Yes. So he almost went for it because, again, it was in motion and it's much more enticing. He thinks I'm actually tossing him the treat. Sit. Good. Ready? Leave it. Ah, yes. Good. Did you see how he corrected himself? He was about to go for it. And then he knew he better stop. So now, if he gets really good at this, and we do it in various places, and he can even do it outside, then you start introducing new things. So instead of food, you might use a favorite toy. Or some dogs like to chew on mulch, so you bring some mulch inside and you put a pile of mulch down and have him practice leave it with mulch or sticks or whatever. Again, to help him generalize that anytime you say leave it, he is supposed to leave whatever the item is alone. Now, we're going to take it one step further. Out of the way. And I'm going to put a pile of treats on the floor. Mary, come. You got distracted by a toy over there. All right, ready? And this exercise you definitely have to do on leash because he will be wanting that whole pile of treats. Come here. And what you're doing, ready? So you start to walk toward it, and what you're doing is you're going to teach him, leave it, yes. So he turned around and looked at me, yes, good boy, leave it, yes. And he gets his reward back here. So you want to put distance between you and the pile of treats. So we start going toward him again. Where's the treats? Now he's afraid to go toward him. Come on. Come here. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Yes. And this exercise basically is preparing them for when you're out on a walk and they see something they want. It could be a piece of trash. It could be a dead bird or something like that. And you obviously don't want them to pick it up. So as you're walking toward it, leave it. Yes, good boy. Come here. Come on, get your reward. That's a boy. Leave it. Yes, you're so smart. Good boy. We're building his endurance. Come here. Can you walk past it? Come here. Now he's kind of freezing because he's like, I'm not supposed to have it. Yes. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Good job. Ready? Can we walk by it? Come here. Leave it. Yes. Good job. And he'll get used to walking along, and you say leave it, and he's supposed to just go right by. Come here. Ready? Leave it. Over here. Come on. Yes. Good boy. And notice I'm not yanking him away from it. If I yank him away from it, he's not learning anything. He's just being forced to go away from it, and he's going to pull me the other way. But if I let him decide to turn away from it, then he learns better. Up, 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 up. No, he doesn't want to go near it. Come on. Right, ready? Come here. One more time. Leave it. Leave it. closer he is, the harder it is for him. Leave it. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Leave it. Yes. Good job. So that is really how you introduce the concept of leave it to a puppy. Again, it's impulse control, very difficult for puppies to do, but invaluable to protect them from picking up things they shouldn't or things that are dangerous, so that you have control over what goes in their mouth. You can also use leave it for if they're about to chase a cat or another dog, they get reactive when they see another dog, or a child. I mean, it could be just about anything. Just anything you want him to walk away from, you're going to say leave it and get him to walk